Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell, I'm in a new setup because now that it gets dark so early, I can't film where I usually film because I depend on natural sunlight. You're gonna hear noises throughout this entire thing. So I have to film in our kitchen or living dining room, and I have like an overhead light and like a light I got from IKEA or Target, so I don't look completely shadowed, but my shadow is gonna be back here. So sorry. But today I wanted to talk about something that I've been wanting to talk about for a very long time, which is like most of my topics, but this one in particular, because I've had a whirlwind of emotions with this, and that is the Disney Vacation Club. You guys who watched my videos for a while, or at least since last May, yeah, I went on my first DVC tour. I was 19. No, actually I had just turned 20. Wait, no, I wasn't. I was 19. Wow, my stories just do not add up. But I was 19, and I actually basically I got into the tour by accident because I had meant to take one in August with my family to just kind of see like room configurations, points, financing, things like that. But long story short, I got into one in May, and it was not the best experience. I think it was because that I was a single young woman who looks like a 10-year-old, and I don't know if my representative thought it was a joke, or that I was just trying to get the free, like, I got three free fast passes and a $50 gift card. I don't know if he just thought I did it because of that, but he treated me very oddly. Just like did not take me seriously. Demeaning, maybe, I guess is a word. Disney DVC reps are like known to be low sale, and this guy was like didn't even try, and then when he like didn't try for 45 minutes, then the end was, well, is $150 a month manageable for you to pay for DVC? And I was like, maybe. And he's like, well, then why don't you buy it? And that basically is how I ended my tour then. It was 45 minutes. It is supposed to be an hour and a half. So I left kind of disappointed. Well, not kind of. I was basically too scared during it to say anything, because I did kind of feel like lesser of a client because I was younger, and you know, I wasn't going to buy right away. So like he did kind of make me feel like crap. So I didn't say anything. But then once I got back to my room and I realized I had basically wasted 2 hours, that I could have like napped or something, going from Animal Kingdom to the center to kind of just be like crapped on for 45 minutes and then to get transportation back. I emailed Disney about it because I just wanted to tell them like, hey, this guy, like, it wasn't the experience that I thought it was gonna be. Like, he kind of just didn't take me seriously. He didn't explain like anything. He asked me what I knew about DVC, and when I told him I knew about the points thing, he goes, oh, then you know it all, and didn't explain anything further. So I just wanted to tell them that. I talked to a lady, oh, and I asked them to switch representatives. So I talked to a lady, she switched representatives for me, and then I get a contact from a new representative. And I said, we're coming in August, I want to set up a tour for me and my family. And I set it up, and that is where I got our second tour. We got picked up from Animal Kingdom again, and I was so nervous because at this point, this is a lot of backstory, but I'll explain how a tour works. But at this point, I was like determined to buy into DVC by next summer of 2019 when I was 21. I had this idea, like I was determined to at least buy 75 points in, and that's where all my savings were gonna go to. Now, my stance on that has changed. I guess a disclaimer is I'm not going to buy DVC in the next year or two like I had originally planned. But when I walked into even the May meeting, I had this idea and this goal that I was going to get into DVC because I figured I was going to Disney so much. So this leads me to our August trip, which is what I think a realistic DVC tour is like. So you go to Saratoga Springs, which is the preview center for DVC. You sit down, you get some little snackies, they sign you in, you get name tags, and then you go into a room that has, you know, a TV and like this beautiful picture of like what do you call it, Cinderella's castle, and all the people are like smiling and stuff, and like families are passing by. They say they do like 200 tours a day, which I get it. And then you sit down, and then the person walks in and you start your tour. So I am going off my memory from November, or it's November now, and I'm trying to remember from August, but my second tour was a full 90 minutes. I can guarantee you that. The guy was super nice, but he was also, it's just a salesperson. Now, I grew up being around salespeople, so I know their tactics. So their tactics actually annoy me, like, because I get like the shticks and like what they try to say and word things to make you want to buy. So he basically sat us down and had us write every trip that we had ever been on to Disney and how much the rooms cost. Okay, so I don't have the paper, but he wrote down every trip, and we kind of guesstimated how much the room would cost. And he was like, well, basically at the end, it was like, oh, you've spent $2,000 in the past 2 years with buying hotels, so you've basically have been paying for this the whole time, which is like bringing the numbers down to such a ridiculous idea that you're like, oh, why didn't I buy into DVC sooner? But in actuality, I personally did not spend, you know, the entire amount of money on the room. I've always split it with people. Well, not always, but all the more expensive rooms I've always split with people, or I've always had people chip in. So like, that was not an accurate representation, but that is a sales trick they will use on you. They will break down all of your trips, and then they'll say, well, you've already spent this amount of money. You could have been just, you know, paying off some DVC points, and you would have had all these extra perks, but you know, you've just spent it on a regular room. That he really went into the perks, and I put quotes around it because he went around the very superficial perks of DVC, besides the fact that you save money. Besides the fact that you do save money with the Disney Vacation Club if you go to Disney, you know, at least every other year. Like, eventually, if you hold the contract out for, it says a minimum 7 years, but just more realistically 10 years, like, you will make a profit and like not really have to pay for trips after that. But the perks that he focused on were like Moonlight Magic. I swear he talked about Moonlight Magic for like 10 minutes, and all that is like parties that like they'll close the parks early, and DVC members can go, you know, enjoy the parks. Epcot, I think they do all the parks, but like I've seen them for Magic Kingdom and Epcot, Typhoon Lagoon, and things like that. So he talked about that for like 10 minutes. But like what he didn't talk about was how you could pay for a room half cash, half points. If you like, say you have enough points for 3 rooms, for 3 nights, but you want a 5-night trip, you could pay the other 2 nights in cash. He never brought that up until Summer asked about it. He also didn't mention until I asked about it, just because I knew from prior knowledge that you can, if you're short, say 10 points on a reservation, you can do a one-time rental usage of $17 a point. But what I didn't know was it was a maximum of, I think, 24 points that you can do. But my reasoning, my point of all of this is that they really don't tell you like important like additions and perks to the Disney Vacation Club. I think they just focus on the very superficial ones, like, oh, you get, if you buy directly from Disney, you can do the get the DVC lounge at Epcot, or use your points on cruises and things like that. But they didn't focus on benefits that are actually very important if you're buying a small amount of points, or you know, you don't think you can get a certain reservation because you'll be 15 points short and you don't want to borrow them for the next year. Another thing he didn't explain until I asked is that how points work. I always thought that you could bank and borrow 3 years, but you can really only bank or borrow like the shouldering years of the current year you're in. So if I'm using 2018 points, I could bank my 2017 points, or I could borrow my 2019 points, but I can't bank my 2017 points and then use them in 2019. Something like that. But that wasn't really explained until we brought up questions. So I would say for a DVC tour, ask questions. Come in prepared for questions. You honestly are gonna learn 99.99999% of your information from sources online that are not affiliated with Disney. Because at the end of the day, although Disney is going to be giving you information, their main point is to sell it to you. So they're going to use those, what looks to be good selling points, but they're not going to be showing you like every single hard fact of DVC. During every tour, I actually have 2 of these. You will get this binder that says "A Lifetime of Magical Memories Begins Now," and you're gonna get all of these booklets. So this one is a booklet on Copper Creek, because this is the newest DVC. It literally it's solely Copper Creek. Really good packaging on it though, or it's like really good quality paper. The next is actually a full guide of Disney Vacation Club, which I'm not kidding, I did not get this with the first guide. It has like different tabs, a welcome, how it works, vacation options, membership benefits, and more. I literally did not get this in my pack the first time. Maybe it was new, but I also just think that guy was just like, get her out of here. So all the room configurations, which I think is really helpful, to kind of see what you're interested in. And then 2019 vacation points, which breaks down, it's like these little charts. If you ever look up anything DVC, it's these little charts that have like all the different seasons and what the points will get for you. So that's basically the pack that you'll get with every DVC tour, which actually is really helpful information. So the thing that my question was now, I'm like getting very heated about this. It's just, I don't know. This whole experience has just been so weird. But the thing that I was really focused in was financing, because again, at that time, I wanted to buy in like pretty soon. So I wanted to understand how financing worked, what it would look like. So you can put 10% down on DVC. That's the minimum that you need to put down to get a contract. I'll print you out, I don't know, this may not work. So this is a page with 20% down. So he actually printed me out 20% down and 10% down. And the interesting thing is that they cannot or choose not to allow a printout of a breakdown, because this breaks down what your down payment is, what you're financing, what the APR is a year, how much dues are. They won't print anything out over 20% down, which I think is interesting. I think that's just to get people to do this at such a low percentage of a down payment. So when but on the computer, they can like manipulate the software that, you know, if you want 75 points, 30% down, this is what it is, or even 50% down, 200 points. Like they have a sheet with the like math up. So when he left us to go print these out, I was like taking pictures of the 30% down because for some reason it won't print. We went to the room configurations. So they have a poly bungalow, a Copper Creek studio that turns into a 1-bedroom, and an Alani from Hawaii, one of their studios that actually, or maybe a 1-bedroom, because you know the studios is just a 1-bedroom with you know, the extension of a kitchen. So that was, I love seeing the room configurations. Summer wanted to see them, Mama John wanted to see them, but yeah, that's really it of a DVC tour. Let me go over the basics of a DVC tour. You go to Saratoga Springs. You get some snacks beforehand. They call your name, you go into a room. You meet your representative. Representative will usually ask you if you have any questions or why you are interested in DVC, what caught your eye, if you just set up the appointment or you know, came from the parks, came from one of the trillion DVC kiosks they have around the parks. And then they will go through it with you about the points memberships, how it works, what the point price is per point, where you can buy now, things like that, financing. I don't know what it's like if you walk in and you're like, I'm definitely going to be buying today. Don't really know how that conversation goes, but you can ask to go to the room configurations where you walk across Saratoga, just like a little walkway to the rooms. You see those, you know, sell, come back. They ask you if you're gonna buy today, and when you say no, they're like, oh, okay, but ask them to always print out, you know, these little sheets of how payment works. they're gonna tell you, you know, next year the price is gonna raise to blah blah blah. 2 years ago points were like $160 a point, now they're 182, so like buy now. You know, those are just all sales tactics, but I'm assuming those are like low pressure. You will get all this booklet stuff at the end, and they exit you through an ice cream shop, which is actually my favorite thing. And I forgot to mention, because from the ice cream shop you are taken back to wherever you want to go. You can go to a park, you can go back to your resort. They drive you to and from Saratoga Springs, so that was really nice. You will get, I got about, oh god, I think like 3 follow-up calls from my representative that week, calls and emails, and I had to send him, I didn't really want to talk to him because I was like, I kept sending him emails. Like, I actually sent him an email. I was like, thank you, I'm not purchasing now, but I will talk to you in the future when I am ready to purchase. You will be the first person to know when I have the money to buy into DVC. But again, that didn't stop him from calling me like a couple times. I think that's just protocol, even if it is annoying, but it is what it is. I'd rather have a representative that actually cares and tries to reach out than one who literally gave like 0 shits about me. It was, oh, that still annoys me so much. So that is it for my DVC video. If you liked this video, if you found it interesting in any way, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Definitely 100% watch other DVC videos, look online, don't look at the information from Disney because it's biased. Just go to like any other Disney website and look up DVC if you're interested, because they'll really give you the hard facts of everything that encompasses it and if it's worth it for you and if you should buy it now. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed my background ambiance of New York City, of just car horns and people speeding for no reason. So I will see you guys next video, which who knows what it's gonna be. But also make sure you guys have a little bit less than a week left. I'm so sorry I did not get this video out sooner, but I have a giveaway that's ending Sunday, November 25th for my Danielle Nicole Snow White bag unused. So definitely check out the video before this. It was a Fort Wilderness review and giveaway to check out everything that you need to do to win. But fun fact, the reason why I haven't been able to film or anything is because last week school was insane. I had like 16-hour school days, and then we went to our cousin's wedding in Georgia and we had no cell reception for 2 days, and then we actually missed the wedding ceremony because of a car accident on this like random, like this one road in Georgia that like we needed to get on to get to the wedding. So that was my weekend, and I hope you guys had a better weekend than that. I mean, I had a great weekend, don't get me wrong. It was fun hanging out with family, but that's just my life. So I wanted to come back this Monday night and talk about DVC with you guys. So thank you so much. I will see you guys next video, and I love you. Bye.